So this is one I've been looking forward to for a while. And I found it, okay? So there's a lot of our history over the last 100 years that many of us fought or lost to the ages. And there's a few dedicated individuals that, out of sheer personal passion and determination, have fought to reclaim and preserve that history. And before I go on with what's going to happen right now, I want to call these individuals up. First, SBPA Eltringham, affectionately known as Bear. Retired Border Patrol Chaplain, Gil Mawson. And I'm going to put him on the spot, but retired Assistant Chief, Cliff Gill. I know that there are others out there that work hard to make sure that we find, reclaim, and preserve our cherished history. Here are three men that have done just that in a big, big way. Did you know that we don't have, or haven't had up to this point, a first official Border Patrol inspector or Border Patrol agent? Indeed, when the Border Patrol was formed, Mr. Berkshire had in mind the epitome of what a good Border Patrol inspector or agent should be. And he found that in a man by the name of Jeff Milton. Jeff Milton rode the border enforcing our laws well before the Border Patrol ever came into existence. He had a long and storied law enforcement career across many different agencies, and I'm going to give Bear the opportunity to talk about that in a second. But what we're going to do today, we're going to make official declaring Jeff Milton as the very first Border Patrol inspector, Border Patrol agent in the history of the Border Patrol, in honor to that service and that example that he set. Because in many ways, what we are today rests in the shadow of what he was. I have a declaration I'm going to read. The United States Border Patrol, to all who shall hear this, presents greeting. This award is presented in honor of the 28 years of exceptionally dedicated and meritorious service to the United States of America within the United States Immigration Service, Department of Labor, from April 13th, 1904 to June 30th, 1932. I, Jason D. Owens, Chief, U.S. Border Patrol, take great pleasure in the posthumous official awarding of the title United States Border Patrol Inspector and First Border Patrol Inspector to Jefferson Davis Milton, November 7th, 1861 to May 7th, 1947. Service is set forth in the following citation. Jeff Milton's unwavering, steadfast dedication to duty and unparalleled abilities did consistently earn him the respect of his peers and superiors alike. His innovative techniques and relentless drive, along with his vast technical knowledge gained through the years of arduous work, aided greatly in the success of the United States Immigration Service and the United States Border Patrol at its founding. The volume of experience Jeff Milton possessed, acquired through the years of service in the most austere environments, proved invaluable as he trained and mentored new United States Border Patrol agents. Leadership of the United States Immigration Service relied upon his extensive expertise consistently, covering a wide spectrum of duties, responsibilities, and operational topics. Jeff Milton's contributions greatly increased the readiness and capabilities of the United States Immigration Service and ultimately facilitated the effectiveness and future accomplishments of the United States Border Patrol. This extensive and successful career of Jeff Milton was marked by humility and daring service to law and order as a pioneer along the frontiers of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. His accomplishments reflect great credit upon himself, the agents he represented, and the communities in which he served. The official titles of United States Border Patrol Inspector and First Border Patrol Inspector are hereby awarded to Jefferson Davis Milton, given his significant impact upon the United States Border Patrol, its organizational leadership, and its earliest members at the May 28, 1924 founding of the agency. Jeff Milton's tireless efforts and dedication to the United States Immigration Service created a foundation for the formation of the United States Border Patrol, leaving a legacy that continues to impact operations and the security of our nation to this day. A copy of this declaration and a memo to archive of the United States Border Patrol will be provided to the United States Border Patrol Museum and be on display at the United States Border Patrol headquarters in Washington, D.C. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce Barry Eltringham, the subject matter expert, unquestioned subject matter expert of Jefferson Davis Milton.
I'm trying to make this quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to some people who rode with me for the last 22 years of me chasing Jeff Milton. Retired Border Patrol agent James Stewart Reed, one of my best friends. Thanks. Gil Mazza, thanks for putting this in front of the chief when you could have put a lot of other things in front of the chief. Joe Bonco, Assistant Chief Gill, Riley Hambeck, thank you for your collective efforts to preserve our history. Cliff, ultimately this was your idea. I just stole it, the concept, in true PA fashion and ran with it. Credit goes to you. I'd like to say thank you to my chain of command for allowing me to pursue this one final goal before my retirement. And Chief, your willingness to embrace the treasure that is our history and make sure it is never lost, I appreciate. The opportunity to be part of this historic moment before I retire is amazing. And by the way, I stole that line from your chief's intent at the academy in true PA fashion again. To my wife Charity, my daughter, thank you very much for putting up with a lot of Jeff Milton stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can imagine, I could probably talk about Jeff Milton ad nauseum and do a lot. Jeff Milton was the type of guy that my dad would call tougher than woodpecker lips and built out of wire rope and rawhide. He was a man who stepped up to death in battle countless times and was known for saying things like, "I never killed a man who didn't need killing, and I never shot an animal except for meat." In a telegram that he once dispatched from the Mogollon Mountain Range, and after a shootout with some train robbers, he simply stated, "Send 2 coffins and a doctor, Jeff." Also on occasion when questioned by his wife, said, "Jeff, who shot you there?" When she discovered an old bullet wound under his chin, he just simply replied, "A man who is no longer alive." Yet, a man who went on to be the 7th Chief of the Border Patrol, Nick Collier, said that he, while stuck in the sand dunes of Mexico, nearly out of water with Milton, stated, "I learned that he was one man who was not afraid to die, one who never lost his sense of humor, and one who to the last would think of his companion first. Never have I been with a more congenial or unselfish person, or one who is more willing to sacrifice himself for the benefit of a friend." Some of y'all know this guy. Retired Associate Chief John Fitzpatrick once wrote, "It's a rare person that can uphold the standard required to be considered a Border Patrol agent. It is the rarest combination of character, courage, and compassion that is the essence of what a PA is. It's going up against insurmountable odds day after day, night after night, facing the worst of the worst that this world has to offer, yet still showing compassion to those that they deal with in that environment. Never showing fear, always being in control. Even when complete chaos is occurring all around, it's knowing that no matter how overwhelming the odds are, that they can never be defeated. It's living character and honor in all that we do." I believe this to be a accurate description of the life of Jeff Milton. No individual on the side of right had a more fiercely loyal friend and compatriot, and no person on the side of lawlessness had a more tenacious and determined adversary. His was the archetype of what a Border Patrol agent was to become, and a standard by which agents today should measure themselves. Somehow we arrived at a place where Jeff Milton's name and legendary service was merely spoken of in whispers and scarcely remembered. His memory was nearly lost to the sands of time and the annals of history, as generation after generation of Border Patrol agents passed on the lore of our agency from journeyman to trainee again and again. Today we begin to change that. From this day forward, it's incumbent on each of us, as Border Patrol agents past, present, and future, to ensure that the memory of Jeff Davis Milton never fades again. On first.
We have a video for Jefferson. You guys will hang with us for a second.
During the formative years of the U.S. Border Patrol, Milton was called upon by the leadership of our agency to train patrol inspectors in the ways of conducting operations in arduous desert conditions to secure the nation's borders. The legend of Jeff Milton being the first patrol inspector is simply that, a legend. Milton was not appointed as the first Border Patrol inspector in 1924, as many publications have stated, including our agency's own historical timeline. Miss Milton once stated, "People get confused. He was never officially a member of the Border Patrol, but unofficially, he was the first one-man Border Patrol." Jeff Milton never wore our uniform or our badge, but he did leave an indelible mark upon our agency. Basic functions agents continue to perform today were laid down by Milton 20 years before the Border Patrol was ever organized. Milton worked alone in an austere environment with only his horse, pack mule, and camp equipment as his backup, and his abilities, knowledge, and personal fortitude to get the job done. No individual on the side of right had a more fiercely loyal friend and compatriot, and no person on the side of lawlessness had a more tenacious and determined adversary than Jeff Davis Milton.